reality to be focused on me. I'm on TV. I am a Vidiot.
Cool. We're back. Woo! We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo! Welcome back to another episode of Vidiot On Demand, and we have another special Nerd Zoom. We got to do it together. Thanks for that. I saw that.
Nerd Zoom.
It's embarrassing. Today we're going to do something a little special on this episode because I enjoy to indulge myself in the nerdy culture, be it movies or sometimes even video games. But one thing that I haven't really talked about much, really in depth at least, is comic books. So I thought I'd break this new video down into a couple of segments where both my guest, Oscar Stävemyr, woo!
Sup, people?
Oscar and I are going to talk about some of our favorite comic book runs. And just as little suggestions, we're going to hopefully get you guys into reading comic books and save this dying industry.
This cult
It can
industry.
use a little help. Without further ado, let's get into it. Do you want to begin? Do you got something hot off the presses for me?
I mean, you're the host, so it's only customary that you should begin. Just want to clarify that we picked like 3 different stories from 3 different publishers, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So there's one Marvel comic, there is one DC comic, and then there is one comic from a different publisher, because there are more publishers than just Marvel and DC. That needs a little bit of love and spotlight.
Exactly, but there's a bit of with one of mine, I just realized when I looked at it, I was like, oh, technically it's one of the big 2, but we'll get into that when we get into it. The first comic book run that I remember reading, I think I was so young. I just remember seeing this comic book in a big store, like a big nerd store, and I was like, I think I need this. And I bought it. I just remember reading this and going from beginning to end and realizing this is good. Like, the story was very well told. It was cinematic in the way they did things that the whole time I'm like, this should be a movie, yo. It is KnightsEnd. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, but if you at home are thinking, I want to know more about this, there's actually a YouTuber called Owen Likes Comics who has done a 20-minute long video that actually takes up the particular part of the story that I'm very interested in. So I'll send the link in this description below, and you can check out that video as well. But what I like about KnightsEnd, this is Batman.
Yeah.
You know?
Batman in the 90s.
Batman in the 90s. And what I find interesting was, and what I didn't really pick up on, but looking back, it makes sense. It was a lot of, the 90s was full of extreme!
Yeah, the 90s.
It was all of...
The 90s were a dark time for comic books. Believe you me.
Yes. It was all about, there was no space for sincerity. Everything had to be, in your face and everything. So all the good guys had to be murdering psychopaths. It was a lot of that. Yeah. And so, of course, how do you update the story of Batman? A guy who traditionally, in most comic books, especially during this time, was not a killer. He didn't go around murdering people. He put them in jail. And so they thought, why not give him put him in a situation where Bane breaks his back.
Yeah.
We've seen it referenced in other media, and he realizes, okay, I cannot patrol at night with my issue here. So, a bit of a big issue. Yeah. So he decides, I will give it to someone who can take on the mantle. Yeah, so basically what they did was they found a man who goes by the name of Jean-Paul Vallée.
Jean-Paul Valley.
I was always saying valet for some reason, as if he's going to get your car. And what we find out is that this guy wasn't all there because he's like a sleeper agent for a religious, an ancient order.
Religious order called the Order of Saint Dumas. So think Assassin's Creed type stuff.
Yes, basically that. And And now that you think about it, yeah, his outfit is kind of Assassin's Creed-like.
Yeah, the way they
actually.
like introduce the system, the way he like operates. Though, although he's a Templar, so not technically an assassin.
So they introduce this character. He takes on the mantle of the Bat. He runs around, but then he starts crossing the lines where Batman would never cross, and he's even starting to like realize that he can't. He wants to get the job done, and he's shutting out Robin. But the part of the comic book that I start reading, because I had very little knowledge of all of this, so I was just like, okay, Batman's got his back broke, and now he's coming back. And what's interesting is that he realizes, I'm going to need to train myself again, because I believe something ridiculous happened, how he got
his back was broken, and he like went through some experimental medical procedure. His back was healed. But then he wasn't 100% because you got your back broken, man.
Dude, so you couldn't walk for a while.
Yeah, so he was out of commission, and so he needed a bit of help to get back to where he once was.
Exactly. So what I remember thinking about this story was that it was unique to see him in the position where he realizes, okay, I messed up. I gave the keys to the Batcave to a psychopath. I need to step up and take it back from him.
Yeah.
And all of his allies are out and about, and they're all working to try to like corner him and get him out of there. And the way it's done, I love how he turns to Lady Shiva to train him. And Lady Shiva in the comic books is a whole other. She's a pretty intense character, but she's a part of the League of Assassins, I believe.
She's been a part of
League of Shadows.
She's been a member of the League of Assassins at a few occasions, but mostly she's like a freelancer. Yeah. She is the deadliest woman in all of the DC universe.
Pretty much, exactly. So imagine this: Batman, who famously does not kill, is going to the deadliest woman in the universe to say, I need you to train me so that I can have that killer instinct at least. And her way of doing it, and this is the thing I love, the setup of this entire comic, is the fact that her way of doing it is she puts on a bat mask, very much like the blue spirit from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like that vibe. And she's got sort of a ninja getup. And then she just goes in and murders these like 7 master of different martial arts, their master. And the guy didn't have arms, I remember. I remember he was just lethal with his feet.
Yeah.
So he would get up and you'd be surprised that he had like, no arms. But he was still like kicking some butt. But she basically takes him, kills him, and then lets everybody know this guy did it. And then without letting Bruce know, she goes, hey, wear this, by the way, and training will begin. And then he's like, oh, this is strange. And he gets attacked by all of these guys. And it's just epic how each of the bad guys that come after him, I wouldn't even say bad guys, they're good people, or for all we know, for all intents and purposes.
I mean, there's lethal. There's Steve from Accountant, and there's like Larry in the mailroom.
Yeah, and Sarah with the cakes that she brings in every weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and
nice.
Karen, screw Karen.
Yeah, it's Karen. Karen's a bitch. No, but seriously though, it's cool how they ramp up the tension each time someone comes in and tries to take him out. So he's got to think on his feet, and the way he does that with each one is fun. It's a great ride. And then of course we have all the other story of how Jean-Paul is going too crazy. He's like tricked out the bat suit with all this ridiculous 90s yellow shoulder pads and like batarangs that come out like rapid fire batarangs.
Actually, kind of a pretty dope suit though. I do like it. I have a soft spot for it.
It's incredibly of its era, and he does all of this in the name of trying to like feel that, okay, I am ready to take on this guy, and how he does it. And I don't want to spoil it for those of you who are interested enough to check it out. I love how he outsmarts Jean-Paul Valley at the end. The bit that I thought was really fun, and this is just one part that, because I haven't read this in years. But I do remember when I refound it, I remember taking it with me out to my summer place and reading it again and feeling the exact same, like, this was so good. But a bit that I'll never forget is when he's fighting one guy and he lands on top of a car that's speeding down the highway. And he manages to, like, get the guy off, throws him out, and then defeats him. And then he turns over and he's like, we were on your car for minutes. Why didn't you pull over? And the guy driving the car was the next guy who was going to kill him. And it was like, oh no. It was just like the perfect way to justify. But I remember thinking when they brought in Bane into the movies, I was like, there's no way they're going to have time to get the entire Knight's End out. You know,
no.
I just loved that setup. The setup is good that you could potentially make that DCAU movie, like a animated film, and I would just eat it up because it's just such a tight idea.
Or just like a short animated series. Like, this is Nightfall, Knight's Quest, and Knight's End, and these are all the things.
A short mini-series, exactly.
I think they did like
I would love it.
I think they did like an audio drama of the entire Nightfall event, like on BBC. I think it's on YouTube somewhere. So go check that out as well.
Speaking of audio drama, you got a little something in the works, don't you? You got some plugs?
Yeah, sure.
For us?
We just released the second episode of X-Men, the audio drama, and this is a two-parter. So this is the first part of the well-loved X-Men story, God Loves, Man Kills.
Ooh, so tune in if you want to hear this guy's voice, this awesome
as a
trailer voice.
As a racist purifier.
Oh, geez. Well, he's a great actor.
I'm a great guy, I promise. I just get typecast in this kind of things. I don't know why.
That's right. You do have that. What was that from? That was from a musical or something? Where you were straight up a Nazi.
I've been cast as a Nazi like on 2 separate occasions. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, typecasting.
Yeah, I can see the hate for mankind in your eyes.
Yeah. You're a bastard.
Maybe it had something to do with that. Batman, Knight's End. That's my pick of the week, I guess. So you guys check that out. And then let me know down in the comments what you think. If you've seen bits of it, is it for you? Is it a yay or nay? Is it a no? I don't know. But let us know. And we will see you next week.